Hey guys, welcome to the Two Dogs Podcast. I'm Dr. Inky.
I'm Dr. Ali here, and welcome to the podcast where two medical doctors generally talk about non-medical stuff. We reach any kind of topics at all, and the previous episode we were talking about how to be more persuasive. More persuasive, right? And the way we do it is one of us will speak about a topic.
Yes, and then the other person do not know
what the topic's all about.
What the topic's about, and the person that did the research will try and convince or educate the other person on the particular topic.
And we'll banter back and forth.
Yes, and we'll banter back and forth. So today will be slightly medical. Right? Slightly medical, right? What is it that human beings do for 1/3 of their lives, but we are still horrible at it?
Right, sleeping.
Yes, that's right.
Seriously?
You are totally right.
Really?
We spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping.
All right.
And we are
bad
horrible at sleeping.
We'll have poor sleep hygiene.
Yes. And problem with sleep hygiene these days, or sleep health these days, is it is actually getting worse.
Oh yes.
Yes. So there was a study being done that in the past 80 years, right, the average sleep has gone down from 8 hours in the 1940s, which was during World War II. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Imagine World War II when the bombs were dropping. Right, people are still getting 8 hours of sleep. Till today, it's only 6.5 hours of sleep.
6.5 hours.
Yeah. So it means that in the past 80 years, we have lost 1.5 hours of sleep
per day.
All right, per day. All right. So when it compounds over time, right, it's actually very serious. Now, as doctors, we know sleep is important because it helps you grow, it helps you repair, right? And then the better quality you sleep, of course, the better for your mental health and your mental clarity.
Okay.
So today I'll be sharing with you 4 ways of getting good quality of sleep.
Okay.
All right. How to get good quality of sleep? I will share with you 4 ways. But before I share with you the 4 ways, right, let me share with you some interesting sleeping facts that you probably don't even know.
Right.
Okay, very interesting. Huh? Now, humans have always taken sleep for granted.
Yes.
And because of that, right, we rarely document down our sleep. So human history, we have been documenting human history for 5,000-6,000 years, but we've almost never documented sleep.
Okay.
We've documented everything else. Scientific breakthroughs, art, craft, trade, everything except sleep.
Okay.
All right. Do you know there's something called biphasic sleep, which we almost rarely don't practice these days?
Biphasic sleep.
Okay. What do you understand about biphasic sleep?
Biphasic.
Okay.
The word bi means two.
Two.
Phase means two phases.
Yes, 2 phases.
So we have 2 different types of sleep.
Yes.
So generally it will be REM sleep, non-REM sleep.
No, wrong. So biphasic sleep means that we sleep twice per day.
Oh, okay.
Now, the Spanish people are doing very well. They call it siesta. So what they do is they work.
Yes.
All right. They are awake for a certain amount of period. They go for a short nap. Okay. And then they go back to work.
Okay.
Or they stay awake and then they go for another sleep. So they have 2 sleeps.
All right.
But siesta is actually not something new. It's actually adapted from a very early form of sleep. These days, they discovered, right, from writings from ancient Romans up to Benjamin Franklin, right, that before the Industrial Revolution, before the invention of electricity, cars and all this, when people were still using candles, right, do you know that people, right, used to go to sleep very early?
Nice.
When the sun was setting, right, that's when most people go to sleep. Let's say about 5-6 p.m. Right, maybe some places 6-7 p.m. But they do not sleep until the next day 7 a.m.
Okay.
They will sleep for 4 to 5 hours.
All right.
Wake up close to midnight.
Okay.
Have supper, and that 1-2 hours of awakeness, right, is usually time they spend with their family. Because again, they are away, they've been working in the fields, they've been working for the entire day. So usually at midnight, they wake up for supper. Simple meal. That's when they spend time with the family.
All right.
That's when they call their neighbors over.
Okay.
All right.
Midnight
With
candles.
Yes, with candles. That's when people come over to celebrate things like birthdays.
Midnight.
Gossips, yes. Gossips. And then after the 1 or 2 hours, they return home and then sleep for another 3 to 4 hours.
Midnight.
Yes. So, we did not know that people did this.
Okay.
But ancient writings have actually shown us that human beings have been doing this biphasic sleep for the longest time. All right. But overall, these people were still getting 8 to 10 hours of quality sleep.
Okay.
Of course, they woke up in the middle, but it's fine because they, in total, 8 to 10 hours of quality sleep. And Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of US, was a strong proponent of biphasic sleep. Right? And we always thought that maybe it's bad for health, but you know, Benjamin Franklin lived until 80 plus.
All right.
And this was like 300 years ago. No?
Yeah,
Living
that's-
under 18 plus, it's something.
It's like 100
it is-
over at this
Yeah,
to this age.
at the current age, you are living to 100 plus.
Yes.
So,
Because most people die in their 40s.
yes, exactly. Most people die of illnesses, disease, and other things. This guy lived until almost 80 plus, right? And so, sleep. So sleep is important. That we all know. And most of the time, adults require roughly about at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But unfortunately, these days, I think if you and I counted our sleep, right, we probably get less than that.
We probably get 8 hours between both of us.
Yeah. All right. So here are 4 ways of getting better quality sleep. All right. Number one. All right. Have a good sleep schedule. Now, the reason why is this: sleep depends on something called a circadian rhythm. All right. As doctors, we learn it when we now undergrad. It just means that at certain time you go to sleep, certain time you wake up. The reason why is at certain time when you go and sleep, your body releases something called melatonin to make you drowsy, sleepy. And then close to midnight, 1-2 a.m., your body releases cortisol to try and wake you up. All right. So problem is when you don't have standard sleeping time, your body cannot adapt.
Doesn't know when to go to
sleep.
What.
Doesn't know when to go to sleep.
But the
doesn't know when to
cortisol
wake
is
up.
consistent.
Yes. So cortisol is consistent. So if you do not have a consistent sleep schedule, now what happens is when you want to go and sleep, cortisol is high. When cortisol is high, you can't fall asleep.
And I think that's why a lot of people, right, they have this voodoo hour.
Yes.
Voodoo
that's
hour.
right.
The voodoo hour means somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock. If you're studying, you suddenly get ultra sleepy one.
Yes.
And then when you cross like 1 a.m.,
Yes. Then you can't sleep.
you can't sleep. You're like fully awake. Then you can go on until 4, 5, 6 a.m.
Yes, that is because, right, in most of us, our cortisol starts to spike at midnight to 1 a.m. The cortisol will increase your heart rate, increase your brain activity. So once you've crossed a certain time, right, it's very difficult for you to fall asleep. And because of that, you have to get a proper sleep schedule. If you're not doing a shift system, you're not working shifts, you have to set certain time that you want to go to sleep. It means that every day at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., you switch off the lights and then you go to sleep.
All right.
And then what happens is once you've trained your circadian rhythm properly, then automatically every day at that particular time, right,
You want to sleep. You get sleepy.
You start yawning on. You will start yawning.
Yeah.
And then what happens is at a certain particular time every day, even without your alarm clock, you wake up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you need to have a set schedule. All right. Easier said than done.
Easier said than done,
Easier said than
especially in
done.
this world.
Especially nowadays, right, when our our sociability or our social factors have changed. That we want to hang out with people, we want to do more stuff, right?
Have your own me time.
Have your own me time and all. And that kind of eats up into that particular sleep schedule.
What's your sleep time?
My sleep time is usually about 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
So 11 p.m. consistent 11 p.m. we'll switch off the lights. 11 p.m. until roughly about 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Right, 6:30 a.m. A lot of times, right, I wake up a couple of minutes before my alarm clock rings.
You're one of the 2% I know that has a very good sleep schedule. The other one is a good friend of mine. He sleeps by 10.
Oh,
10. So very rare is he awake after 10. Of course, on the days whereby he wants to socialize, he'll go until 1, 2,
correct.
3 a.m. But by 10, if I text him 10:30, no reply until 5 a.m. He'll reply at 5 a.m. That's when he wakes up. Automatically. So what you say is absolutely true.
It is true. It is true. And a lot of times, right, there is something called sleep debt. That means that if you don't sleep sufficient, you actually carry forward that hutang, that tiredness, right, to the next day. That's why a lot of times, right, when you wake up the next day, you still feel tired, you'll be yawning the entire day, and you want to take a nap. Right? It's because your body is telling you, hey, you lack this 1 hour of sleep today. Imagine tomorrow you lack another 2nd hour of sleep and a 3rd hour of sleep, and then it rolls over. And then what happens is then your brain gets more and more sluggish, your body gets more and more sluggish over time.
All right. So rule number one, have a good sleep schedule.
Sleep schedule.
Because if your body gets sufficient amount of sleep, you actually are fresh throughout the whole day.
You're fresh throughout the day and you're more efficient.
Having said such, does this still need to work with Biphasic?
So what happens is when you've trained your biphasic, all right, then naturally what happens is every day you sleep slightly early, but then you wake up at a certain time.
Okay.
All right, and then after you cross to the 1 a.m. time, then you go back to sleep, and then you wake up again. Right. The reason why is, yes, your circadian rhythm, right, it's there. All right. However, you can train your circadian rhythm to actually go to sleep much earlier, and then to wake up somewhere about midnight.
Pee and go back to sleep.
Yeah. So there's actually you actually sleep, right, as it's something that which is not highly researched.
Oh,
Right.
right.
We know we need sleep,
Yes.
but there's not much research that actually goes into sleep. All right. So that's why what we know about sleep these days, right, is actually our understanding just from the past less than 100 years or so.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Point number 2.
Point number 2, exercise is very important.
Through the day or before sleep or what?
So there is a meta-analysis done in 2017. So they compared about 29 studies on exercise.
Okay.
They found out that you need an average of 45 to 60 minutes of exercise at least 4 to 5 times a week, all right, to have good quality of sleep. Now, if you do it consistently, 45 minutes, 5 days a week, up to 8 to 12 weeks, all the participants shown a better quality of sleep.
What does that mean? How does it make sleep better? Or what do you mean by better sleep?
All right, so what happens is, and when you exercise, all right, you actually tire your body out.
Okay.
You make parts of your body tired, your muscles are tired, right? Then there will be, up to a certain point, there will be a little bit of mental fatigue as well.
Okay.
All right. And once you're tired, then it's much easier for you to fall asleep. All right.
Okay.
It's much easier to fall asleep. However, you cannot exercise too close to your sleeping time.
How close is too close?
So the study says that do not exercise roughly 1 hour before it's your time for bed.
It's okay because after you finish exercise, you still have to shower and do all the stuff. Takes an hour.
Yeah, correct. So sometimes there are some people, all right, that like to exercise at midnight. All right, they like to go for a jog at midnight. All right,
11 only, yeah.
okay, 11 o'clock. All right. Now it's okay. It's okay to do a late night exercise, provided you have done intense exercise to tire your body and your mind out. There are certain exercises, right? Let's say if you do a very simple exercise, like a 10-minute exercise, right? Sometimes, right, you become even more refreshed. All right, means that you have not gone past the stage
threshold.
of fatigue. Yeah, the threshold of fatigue. You must cross the threshold of fatigue in order for you to be able to go to sleep.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. That I will vouch because that's what I do. So people who know me knows I only start my exercise after 9:30 at night. I don't go before that because it's still very stuffy. I was just having a discussion with a friend of mine who says, why do I exercise at night? They said the morning air is much better. I said, yes, but I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person, and I've discovered after 9:30, the air gets cooler, it's less dense, it's actually easier to breathe also. So I only start 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm weird, I know. But when I do, it's never a 10-minute thing, not a 20-minute thing. It's usually about an hour 15 max, but I do tire myself.
Yes.
Sleep through the night, never wake up.
Correct. So you need to tire yourself out. Right? If you're doing a late night exercise, you really need to exercise to the point whereby mentally you're like, I can't do it anymore. Right? Your body is telling you, what, enough is enough. Right? Then you can go take a shower and then go back and sleep.
Okay.
And small note, do you know that shower actually helps you sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Cool or hot?
Right. Now it must be a warm shower. Right? It must be a warm shower. So a warm shower actually relaxes your muscles.
Yes.
Right? And also after you have showered, what happens is your core body temperature starts to drop.
Yes.
And once it starts to drop, it's much easier for you to fall asleep at night.
That's absolutely right. Too.
So if you can't fall asleep at night, go for an exercise and then go for a shower.
Go for a warm shower. Number 3.
Number 3, read a book.
Read a book.
Read a book.
Especially if it's a textbook.
Especially if it's a subject that you hate. Now they did studies on participants that read books, and they say that reading a book is very calming. All right, it's very calming, and then it puts the mind at ease, and it goes to sleep. So, but I have another theory that it kind of bores your brain out. Because okay, if you're watching TV, if you're listening to radio, or if you're listening to music, yes, it's very exciting. So it actually causes a lot of adrenaline in your body. All right. However, if you read a book, all right, there's so little excitement, but at the same time, you're making your brain work overtime. Imagine that at the end of the day, your brain's really tired, and you're asking your brain to absorb more information, right? So your brain actually gets a bit tired over time.
Is there a difference? Did any study say a difference between different kind of book?
What kind of book?
Yeah.
No. It just says read a book. All right. So, and it is true. Because if you see kids, right, whenever they are at their study table reading a book, right, they tend to fall asleep.
Yeah. You give me a textbook, I'll fall asleep.
Yeah. So, now, but do not read ebooks. So the study did say reading ebooks is counterproductive.
Why?
Now, because ebooks come from devices that emit blue light.
All right.
So what these devices do is it actually prevents melatonin secretion, which is the hormone which is responsible
sleep
for
hormone.
putting you to sleep. So do not read your Kindle, do not read your phone, right? No ebooks. Have a proper hardcover book, right? Or softcover book, but a proper printed book.
I also reckon, especially when you're reading books, right? Let's say if you're reading a novel, as you read, you're actually getting fatigued because you are playing a movie in your mind.
That's right.
That's one. If you're reading something that's more technical, a textbook, or if you're reading about philosophy book, again, there's a lot to digest. So mentally, you're also causing a bit of fatigue. Magazines, I'm not so sure.
Magazines, I think it's okay, but yeah, I as long as, well, according to the study, as long as it's printed media, so it's fine.
But here's one thing, right, that I know. A lot of Malaysians, right, they read before they sleep, but they still cannot sleep.
Why
And it's called Facebook.
Yes, right. That's an ebook. That's a form of ebook.
They can just go on and on for hours and don't sleep. So Facebook is not a book.
Yes, Facebook is definitely not a book.
Right.
It's definitely not a book.
Point number 4.
Yeah. Point number 4 and the last one of the easiest way to fall asleep is actually a method. All right. This method is actually called the military napping method.
I've heard of it. It's about breathing.
Yes, it's about it's a combination of a few different things. All right. Now, the reason why it's called military napping method, because when you're in the army, especially when you're deployed on the field, right, you're in the middle of battle, you need to be able to fall asleep anywhere at any given time, as fast as possible, because you might only have half an hour of sleep, 1 hour of sleep, or maybe even 10 minutes of sleep. So you must be able to shut down your brain and your body when you want it.
Okay.
Right? You cannot just like us, sit there, wait a while, and then slowly fall asleep. No, you need to be able to shut yourself off. Okay. All right. So this is the method on how to actually shut yourself down. All right. Right. There are actually 3 different steps. There are actually 3 steps. Okay. Step 1, right? Control your breathing. So you are totally right. Control your breathing, slow your breathing down. All right. Take long deep breaths, and then slowly exhale. All right. And if it's possible, do short exhalation breaths. It means one long breath and then slowly exhale, right? In small amounts. All right. And then continue that. Okay. That's 1. Then after that, you need to move on to the second one, which is muscle relaxation. So you need to relax yourself from top to toe. All right. Start from the top first. All right. Okay. It means that consciously tell your mind, all right, to relax my scalp, my hair, relax my ear, all right, relax my forehead, because I actually know some people when they go to sleep, right, they actually scrunch they still frown, right? Relax my forehead, relax my mouth, and then as you go on down, right, relax my upper limbs, my torso, my lower limbs, right? Tell your body to relax, and literally you have to relax
while breathing.
Okay, great. Now, once you've done with the breathing and once you've done with the muscle relaxation, then it's time to turn off your mind. Okay. Now, there's a few ways to do it. Now, the military tells you to just think of something black, right? Okay. So it means that it's just like a television, click, off. Okay. However, a lot of people have issues visualizing the black. Okay. All right. So one of the things that you can actually visualize, right? You can actually visualize white noise. White noise. Okay, for those maybe not old enough to know what white noise is, yes, it's that kind of thing, right? In last time, right, after midnight, all our televisions have that black and white snow. Yes, black and white thing. Do you know that white noise is actually very soothing?
Over time.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like listening to
it's like rain.
Yeah. Water.
Yes, correct. So they've discovered that white noise is actually very soothing. So if you cannot sleep, visualize white noise, the sound and the color of it. Then slowly, and maybe because it's boring or what, then your mind actually starts to shut down.
Nice.
Yeah. So in this particular, the military napping system, right? In the military, they teach you to sleep within 2 to 5 minutes. All right. But of course, it takes practice. It takes practice, especially if you have insomnia issues, right? It might take some couple of days to weeks for you to actually practice it. But once you've mastered the skill, then it's really easy to fall asleep.
What do you do?
What I do? Well, I'm actually blessed
You can
I'm
just
actually fall asleep.
You can just
anywhere.
shut off like
yes. So it's a blessing that I've had ever since I can actually remember. Ever since I was a young boy, I could sleep anywhere, anytime. All right. And when I'm sleepy, I really just close my eyes and I'll just sleep. Knock off. Right.
Okay.
So I do not have any issues sleeping. Yourself?
Myself, I do breathing techniques. All right. So although I'm pretty much like you, I can just shut down anytime, but I find breathing techniques help with me. So the way I do breathing techniques is I take slow breath, about 6 to 8 breath count. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going in. Then I exhale for that same duration, and I hold my breath for that same duration. Then I repeat. 2 things will happen. Number 1, relaxation technique. You're relaxing the whole body. Number 2, for those who have sinus issue, blockage, it actually decongests.
Interesting.
Very interesting, because during the hypoxic stage, which is when you exhale and you hold
your breath.
It actually opens up your nasal passage.
Yeah, makes sense because your brain is
saying not
enough oxygen. We need to open up our
channel as
passage.
possible.
Yes, correct.
So that's what I try to do. I've always constantly got this slight congestion. So my aim is to decongest myself. Sometimes even before I decongest, I'm already asleep.
Good.
So that's that. Okay, just a quick one. Benefits of sleeping. Because people want to say, yeah, do all this, but what's the benefit that I have that I don't know?
Yeah.
Of
so
sleeping.
Well, there are actually a lot of benefits of sleeping, and a lot of these benefits we're actually starting to discover. Of course, number 1, it actually reduces the incidence of chronic diseases.
Correct.
All right. Example, hypertension, heart problems, diabetes, and all these other problems which you have in your health. Right. Actually boils down to good sleep.
Yep.
All right. If you have bad quality of sleep, then naturally what happens is then you actually have a lot of health issues.
Correct.
All right. So that is actually one of the main thing, right? Which is your general health. Of course, not to mention your mental health. All right. The mental health is the part whereby I think now doctors are starting to realize, and psychologists are actually starting to realize that sleep actually has to tie in with a lot of good mental health. Can you imagine? Because people who have anxiety issues, depression, insomnia, all of them, right, have bad quality of sleep.
Oh yeah.
Right, and once you actually if you can improve the quality of sleep, right, their incidence rates of all these particular mental health issues actually starts to reduce over time.
Another benefit I'm going to put in, weight loss.
Oh yes.
Weight loss. It's actually very important. If you're on a weight loss journey and you have poor sleep hygiene, it actually is counterproductive.
That is right.
Very counterproductive.
That is right.
So I find when I'm trying to go on my weight loss and I don't have enough sleep, it doesn't work.
Yes.
When I have enough sleep, then the next day I can wake up feeling I can feel literally I'm lighter.
Yeah.
Right? For 2 reasons. Number 1, the whole circadian rhythm and cycle. As you sleep, you're actually having some amount of growth hormones. Growth hormones is actually important for building muscles. Number 2, which is also very important in Asia, you stop eating.
Yes, you are actually right. So,
seriously.
Yeah. So the sleep and obesity thing, right, is now a chicken and egg. So
Yes.
a lot of times that we think that obesity leads to poor sleep, but actually what they've discovered now is actually the other way. Poor sleep actually leads to obesity.
I agree.
Because it actually would actually play around with your satiety center. Means that you tend, when you have less sleep,
You get hungry.
and you tend to crave
Yes.
for carbs
Carbs.
and sugar.
Especially carbs and sugar. It's either salt or
Yes.
sugar.
Yes,
That's
correct.
the 2 things that you always crave. You almost never crave for a roast chicken in the middle of the night.
Yes, that's right.
You will never crave for a steak, but you will crave for a bar of chocolate,
Yeah,
candy bar,
and
and then you negotiate and say it's very light.
Yeah,
It's very small, only
Correct,
one slice of bread with butter and kaya.
correct.
And it's about 300 calories.
Yeah, and in Malaysia, sometimes you really cannot sleep, then you go for roti canai.
It's only 400 calories.
Yeah, so 400 calories.
Only. Then you never lose weight. Then you say,
Yes.
I don't understand why.
Why I
I
don't
makan
lose
very
weight.
little, you know.
Yes.
I makan very little throughout the whole day, but I eat supper at night. Why? Because cannot sleep.
Correct.
Right? That's that. Muscle building. I think that's about all I can talk.
Yeah. So
I think these 2 would actually benefit a lot
these
of
two
people.
actually benefits a lot of people.
Because again, people don't talk much about it, but it's very important.
Correct.
Right, so hope you guys found this segment important. 4 tips on how to get better sleep hygiene. The thing that you've done 1/3 in your life and you don't.
And
do
you
it
still,
very well.
you're still not good at it.
What comments do you have for people like me once upon a time that says, if I sleep 8 hours a day, 1/3 of my life is gone. If I live 90, technically only 60 was productive.
Well, so basically it's, if you sleep 1/3 of your life, the other 2/3 will be highly productive. But if you do not sleep 1/3 and you cut down, the other parts of your life will be less productive.
That is true.
All right. And if you want to live a longer, healthier life, you need good sleep. You need a lot of sleep.
All right. Motivation for me to get good sleep hygiene. Don't actually have much problem, but get better sleep hygiene.
Sleep hygiene.
Oh, one more. Take your phone. Put your phones away from you.
Keep your phones away.
From you. Okay. So this is true. There are times whereby when I'm sleeping and I need to be very alert because let's say something important is about to happen, and I put my phone very near me, I actually get a headache. I can actually feel a buzzing,
Really?
radiation into the head.
Yep.
So maybe I'm a bit more receptive. My ion's a bit high, so probably I can feel it a bit more. But for those who don't feel it, it's actually happening. So when they say there's electromagnetic waves that goes around, there's a lot of pulses, a lot of unseen energy. I think it's really true because the one when it's only happened a few times, and today was one of the prime examples. I put the phone too near to me. I actually can feel headache after that.
All right.
Literally.
So one of the good tips that I would highly suggest is keep a phone away from you, not what arm's length. Keep it at a distance whereby you have to wake up to it. You have to get out, you walk, and then you have to go and take it. Right. So if you kept it for more than roughly about 7 to 10 feet away, right, you don't actually get all these kind of problems because number one, it's far away.
Correct.
All right. So number two, deep down also, whatever's happening, I can't be bothered to actually walk all the way there to actually take my phone.
Because once you're sleepy, right, even if it buzzes, you couldn't care less.
You couldn't care less.
Too much of a task to just go all the way there.
Correct.
All right. Okay. Hope you guys found this segment important and also useful in your life. 4 tips for better hygiene. We've also threw in some Easter eggs to tell you the importance of sleeping, which you probably may know or didn't know, and we're just going to reveal it to you. If you've got some kind of tips, do you drink milk? Maybe have a cookie before?
Yeah,
Some people do say that. I personally don't find it very useful. But if it's useful for you, do let us know. Drop us a line and share with us what are your different sleep hygiene tips. Till then, we'll be back again next week on The Two Docs. I'm Dr. Ali.
And I'm Dr. Gee. Have a good weekend.